Murray & Roberts is next. Established in 1902, global construction and engineering group. Been in a sort of a turnaround mode. It had some bad times, had a couple of capital raises. Market capitalization is 5.4 billion rand. The workflow does look better. Price to earnings ratio 5.79. And dividend yield based on its recent distributions of 4.04%. So at least it's in dividend paying mode. That's encouraging. Henry Last has sort of cleaned up the operation. There were lots of problems under Carl Grimm's period at the helm, particularly with the competition-related problems.
Definitely. I mean, and the competition, I suppose, you go through their announcements, and I mean, they've got the list of, Gautrain projects that they're busy fighting. They're all over the place.
So that's not so much the competition issue, it's more the contract dispute problem. They had a lot of those.
Exactly.
Yeah, in Dubai
Airport,
sorts of places.
all over the place. But I think Henry Last, I mean, has come to the fore and is a fairly good operator. I mean, he, for me, when they obviously had that bridge collapse as well, I mean, him coming on on radio and really speaking to the public around, I think he handled it exceptionally well, which is what you kind of want from your CEO, to be able to step up in times of crisis. So
how is the Australian business they've got? It's called Clough. Again, Australia. It's an established player. Again, a company that they bought in Australia and then put effort into. They had some really spectacular projects, like that big Gorgon LNG port, which was like an island they took just off of Western Australia and turned it into like a gas collection point.
No, and I mean, especially with Clough, what they're looking at, they're actually moving into, they're going to do projects in Canada now as well. So and that's not confirmed yet, but that's on the card. So it does look like they have fairly good things coming up for them.
Share price, because I think this is one of the ones you're referring to that has had a little bit of a rally. But let it be known that share price chart, reflects a big fall from an all-time high somewhere above 100 Rand a share. So it's been a very, very tough couple of years for them. But is this the beginning of a new era? I mean, that looks like a share price chart which has moved from like 6 Rands a share to 13 or thereabouts.
Yeah, if you look at, I've got a year-to-date movement on that share, total return on that share price, including dividends. I mean, we're looking at 58%, which is, in this market, is absolutely fantastic.
58% up this year.
58% up this year. That's that little share price movement. And I mean, again, once the share prices come off that heavily, when they're trading at large discounts.
I mean, that could literally, at the scale they are, with like 4 billion rands worth of market cap and the exhausted shareholder base, that could just simply be one institution,
picking up
basically.
Stock as well.
Because I mean, 20% of the shareholder base used to be Allan Gray.
Yeah,
they're not the sort of people who go around selling shares when they're down. So it's possible that they've just accumulated a few more.
And you have seen Allan Gray. Allan Gray's actually been buying into WBHO as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're the big shareholders are Allan Gray and Old Mutual. I mean, they're holding 20%. So I think Allan Gray looking at the sector and saying, if you're a longer term buyer and you've got, you can make very decent returns out of this.
Buy the whole company,
if you're prepared to wait for the the cycle to turn.
Yeah, because who knows? There's a lot of negativity out there, but who knows? We might be, there could be a presidential election here that goes well from the perspective of the sort of global capital, and then you start to get more enthusiasm about the fine country that South Africa is, and then there's a building boom, and then India comes to the fore and chars all of our commodities.
It is cyclical. So there will be a time where, I mean, I don't think the human race is going to stop building things anytime soon.
Okay, time's up anyway. So you're going to go hot on this one? Do you think it can sustain that momentum?
No, I think it's a little bit. You've already seen the 58% run. I don't know how much more is left in it. I'm not going to go hot on Murray's. I think a few problems in there still.
Okay, good, and I'm going to avoid as well.